Okay, so I think I'm getting closer to something good. But now I need to... Now I'm gonna need to, Huh! Sorry. Now I'm gonna need to, change this. Change this hole here to have, to be bigger. Just a little longer so that the, battery goes in and out the way it should. At least the way I think it should. So honestly, I can just extrude this by like negative some number, like 5 millimeters. That's quite a lot. And then if I change this so that the angle is more like 110. I don't know, I'm just eyeballing it here. And then I go ahead and I split this body using this plane. Alright. That ought to be enough for me to test whether the thingy works. But now I'm going to go ahead and suppress the split real quick. Because I want to add a hole that is about here. Let me go ahead and project this line here. Yeah, I'll go ahead and put this hole below the line. And I'm just going to make it... 2 ought to be plenty. 2 ought to be plenty. That's going to be for the wire that's going to come in on this side. That's going to connect to the battery on this side. And then put a sketch here. That's also going to be just a hole. Gonna go ahead and put this on the same. Okay. And then cut that through and cut that through. Alright. And then move all of this to before the split and then unsuppress the split. Alright. I may change depending on how I feel. In fact, you know what? I'm going to do that now. Okay. There. And then Wrong one. This one. Yeah. So what that is that is too big. Okay. So what that is instead, so the original plan was stick wire through the hole, solder it to a piece of aluminum, super glue the aluminum to this face here, and then do the same thing on this side. That should still work on this side, except instead of gluing it to the face on the thing, I'm gluing it to this little springy bit. That should still work on this side, but on this side, I think it'll work better if I super glue the aluminum. Let's see, how do I describe it? So I was going to stick the wire through here and then solder it to the aluminum. And then there was just going to be like this plate, and then they would have to have a glob of solder and wire underneath it sticking out. I'd like for this to be flush. So what I'm going to do instead is kind of fold up the aluminum in such a way that that this here most of this is covered, right? Of this face will be covered, and then it'll stick through into this hole, right? And then when I solder the wire to the aluminum, it should be fine to honestly, if I do it well enough, I could fit it in here. Anyways, but yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and print this and test this. So battery case, save that. Battery case test. Battery grip, save that. Battery grip test. Alright, and then I'm going to go ahead and slice this and print this, and then I'm going to test it, and then if I need to change something, I will change it. Things that I can probably change are this angle here, and you know what? I might want to do that. Yeah. Yes, replace that. So what that should do is make it more flexible. I'm thinking that's going to make it easier to better at the job that I want it to do. Yeah. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and slice this and print it. Okay, let's see. Battery case test and battery grip test. This goes on this. Goes way the heck up. And then this goes on this, and also needs to go way the heck up, and a little bit this way. Gonna block the supports here. What? And here. There's... What? Blocker here. All right. And then I'm gonna go ahead and move this close enough to the other one that the brims should touch. And that way, this one pretty much has no chance of falling over. Why is it taking so long to slice all of a sudden? Oh God. So how does the support blocker work then? Is it like... Huh, whatever. Okay. And... not quite touching. A little more. Yeah, that was good. Okay. See, because now in order for this to fall over, it would have to either completely disconnect from the brim or bring down the whole brim, which it's not gonna do. I don't think it was gonna fall over anyways, but like, you know, extra security. Okay, save this to... case test, I guess. And then I will hopefully have something I can test in about 50 minutes. Okay, so this case test got printed. I've got the little springy bit in there, and it springies. The it's too long though, so I gotta make it shorter. But it's also a little too skinny because it just won't. It grabs on a little too tightly to the battery from these ends. But if I put it in, I'm gonna put it in this way so that it doesn't go all the way down. But if I put it in like this, the spring springs, so that's nice. So I just gotta change the length of this and maybe the width change the length and width of this, but everything else should be fine. The holes here, where's the... here it is. I can fit a wire through the hole here, and then that could in theory go here. I can fit the wire through here. Right, and then that could, in theory, come back out like about there. Yeah, like about there. And then that would be able to be how I connect the battery to the actual caliper there. Calipers, whatever. Using a piece of aluminum foil soldered onto these wires. So, I forgot to change the print settings though for these, and so it still has print quality issues. I'm gonna try printing it hotter because I think it's under extruding, and if I print it hotter, then the flow. Okay, so I should just have to change two little numbers here. So that would be okay. -5 was too big. Where's the... So let's try 2. And then... Where is... Is that it? Okay. That needs to go... That needs to be bigger by just a little bit more. Space plus space 0.2 space mm. Okay. All right. And then that will make this 1 millimeter on this side, which is not that big a deal, but meh. Because those were the issues that I found, because I am happy with this. I'm not even going to print another one. I'm just going to reuse the other one that got printed. So, yeah. And then I'll see how well this works. So save here, and I'll go ahead and slice this. Yeah, replace it. Okay. So -5 was too much for expanding the size of this slot. -2 may be too small, but I don't know. I gotta find a sweet spot there. Anyways, I'll go ahead and get this sliced then. And on the slicer, I'm gonna have to remember to change the settings in order to try and get things to work properly. I am noticing right now that where these issues are on the same side as the other print. I'm looking at the printer real quick. And the part cooling fan is on the side where the issues are. So maybe it's getting too cold too fast? I don't know, maybe increasing my temperatures will work. But anyways, time to go ahead and slice it. Okay, so open up the, it was case test, right? Battery case test. No, it was battery case, wasn't it? Yep. Yep, that's got all the... Okay. Alright. And then let me change my, I mean... If it was the cooling fan causing those issues, lowering the fan speed would also work, but it's... But, I don't know. It's because I usually run at 215 anyways, so, I mean, I'm just gonna do that anyways. This is, oh yeah, that's why. Maybe if I change, I don't want to slow that down. Maybe if I change the cooling, go to 95%. That'll make it much hotter. So two things will probably happen. This support will be much more difficult to remove. And these sags or these overhangs here will probably be a lot more saggy. I mean, maybe not a lot more, but like more saggy, and this will be more difficult to remove. But I'll go ahead and save this. Case test, save, yes. Okay, and then I'll go ahead and get it printed and see how well it works. Alright, I got it printed, and it worked well enough that I'm gonna keep this, but I just wanted to, I'm gonna keep this. I'll demonstrate everything in a minute, but I just want to show that it does have a pretty stable, pretty solid electrical contact. So if I were to touch the ends here, can you see it? Okay. And there are those numbers right there. So, it's good. It's not falling out, and it requires intention to pull it out. And it doesn't just slide in, right? And I have to push it in, which means that it's going to get a solid contact. So this case, or this dimension it's good. I just realized that what I have done here is designed a 3D printable battery enclosure, so now I can add batteries to anything I want using the same technique, which is exactly what I'm doing here. But it means I can maybe make powered devices now if I really, well, I mean, honestly, if I get the money to buy electronics. But that's awesome, actually. Anyways, I'm keeping this. So yeah, this goes in, comes out fairly easy. The springs, right? And it goes in pretty easy, right? It doesn't come out so easy. You can do that, but once you put the foil on it, that'll add enough thickness that shouldn't be an issue. But also, doing this is not going to be, I shouldn't really do that. This is this is a lithium ion battery. Those are not the best. I mean, it's fine, but like, you shouldn't do that to batteries. But anyways, that isn't an issue once the cases, or once the cover's on it. So yeah. So now all I gotta do is just print out the whole thing, I guess. You know, unsuppress that split there, print out the whole thing, get it on top of here, and do that. Print quality is a lot better. I turned down the cooling fan, and I turned up the temperature, and that made the print quality a lot better. There still is a noticeable difference between this side and this side, but it's not a big issue. But yeah, it's a lot better. Maybe slowing it down this time will make it better so that it just has a higher quality, but like, I don't think slowing it down will change too much. So yeah, That is this here at this point. So my next thing is to print out the whole thing and then get the pieces soldered in. And what I'm gonna do, right, is I'm gonna make sure that it works before I solder the aluminum and this together by like doing what I just did just now by putting the battery in, touching the wires to everything, making sure everything is secure. So, but I'm gonna do that, and then once that's good, I can solder everything together, and it should work. I am going to have to solder the wires directly to this, unfortunately, because tape is not going to work. I tried tape like 3 different ways to Sunday, and it is unfortunately not a secure enough connection to these, so I will have to solder it. I can always desolder it if I want to remove it, but it's fine. I just gotta hope that I don't burn anything underneath there, which I really shouldn't be burning anything underneath there, because once the soldering iron gets hot, I touch it there, touch the solder there, and boom, it's done. But yeah, I'm not gonna like record myself soldering because this camera has very crappy resolution and I cannot see any of the electronic components through this that I will have to be avoiding, you know, when I solder. So